What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Magic and Andrew MMA betting show. We've got episode 113, UFC 308, going down in Abu Dhabi tomorrow. Ilya Topuria taking on Max Holloway for the featherweight belt. We've got two special guests here, a recurring guest to break down this card. We're going to start from bottom to top. Magic, kick us off. Carlos Leal versus Bernat Fakhretdinov.
Yeah, his time has come. Can you hear me? The sound just went off. I think his time has come. Like, I was a bit worried how Carlos Leal was going to look on relatively short notice, but he doesn't cycle off. The cycle stays on year round. Like, he's insane used. I think he's clearly dog or pass. Like, this guy barely escaped against Zaleski, who beat the living shit out of him and should be in jail for not finishing that fight. And I thought he lost against Nicolas Dalby. I saw him losing, like, tough break for Dalby bettors, myself included, but whatever. Leal is better than Dalby, I feel. I think he can negate the grappling, mostly push-up pace, and beat him up mid to late.
Tim, you on anything here?
I feel like I didn't have enough, like, sample of Leal facing wrestlers, but he looked functional from, like, the few exchanges I saw of him, and Fakhretdinov kind of relies on control and takedown. So I feel like I don't have enough data, but yeah, I have nothing.
Okay. Gugabe, you?
Yeah, the wrestling thing's come into question. Like, if Leal can get up or Renat gets tired, I definitely think he's tired. I took a tiny bit of, like, late Leal KO kind of stuff just to feel like we're not such a spaz. But yeah, it's really just going to be whether or not Renat can lay and pray him. The under looks a little bit big just because I feel like Renat's not exactly very sophisticated striking, defense, or offense standing. And yeah, Leal will push the pace kind of thing, but doesn't go around pulling the trigger yet, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's dog or pass here. Fakhretdinov, in my opinion, looked pretty rough his last couple fights, and I just don't see much upside for him at the current line. Like, are we really going to look back at this and say, oh, Fakhretdinov was minus 400 here? I feel like there's a way better chance that we're like, oh, Leal looks like the favorite. He stuffs some takedowns. His cardio is better. He's better on the feet. So I'm going to go with Leal here. Ibo Aslan. Hang on, I might have screwed that order up. Ismail Nordiev versus Bruno Silva. I took some Nordiev early. I just think at this point in Bruno Silva's career, he's, I think he's gotten a little softer. His durability is not there. And I never really was high on him at all. Like, I kind of thought his run in the beginning was a little bit overrated. He's a big hitter, but outside of that, I don't think he's a great minute winner. I don't think he's a good grappler. I don't think his cardio is great. Nordiev, I just think he's, to use a Gugabeism, he's a little bit better at mixing the martials. Better minute winner. He got knocked out a couple times in Brave, but like, those guys are pretty solid. It's not like he was getting beaten by cans on the regionals. So yeah, I think you're basically fading a KO here with Bruno Silva, and I kind of think the current line's about right. Tim, what do you got here?
I think, like, early, if you got Nardiev, I think that's fine. But I'm a little worried. Just like, he was finished 3 times on the regionals. I know some guys in Brave can be pretty good, but that's still a little, like, nerve-wracking. It is funny that he was the same price against Sean Brady a few years ago, Nardiev. Remember, he was like minus 180.
That is funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of a sloppy fight. I'm not really interested in anyone at the line. I do think Bruno Silva's fought some tough competition lately, like Allen, Weidman, Magomedov. But I think it's going to be a sloppy fight. I want nothing to do with it.
Gugabe, you have anything here?
I took a little bit of Nordiev, like, the evens. I didn't have strong takes, but I just think Bruno Silva is attribute cheat, and his attributes seem to be flatlining a bit. So what's he got left? But again, I don't think Nordiev's got a ton in the tank. So yeah, I think current price is fine. Most likely just going to be a spaz first.
Magic?
Yeah, I put Nordiev at even money in a 13-leg parlay or something early. I'm the smartest person in the world. now he's my minus 170. I think it's not going the distance. Like, yeah, he should have more in the tank. He should have more volume. The kicking upside is big, but he's a weird guy. The under is probably good. Like he's a good finisher, but also finds ways to get finished out of nowhere. Yeah, I think someone is going to get finished, and Bruno Silva looks pretty much done, honestly. I don't know how you go from 3 rounds of war with Alex Pereira to getting flattened by Gerald Milchard. That was insane. Like, that was a knockout. He decided to choke him out, but that was a knockout. So, yeah, he looks to be done. Like, if you have a competitive fight on the feet with Chris Weidman in 2024, it's over. Like, it's over. Go back to Brazil.
We'll stick with you here, Magic, for the next one. Farid Basharat taking on Victor Hugo. Do you see any value in the underdog, or do you think the big price is justified?
He missed weight, right?
Yeah, they're fighting at 145 now.
Really? Like
Yeah.
10 pounds higher? I didn't know that somebody missed weight. I just saw it, but didn't know who it was that missed weight. I assumed it was the Brazilian. Like, no disrespect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Basharat is probably going to cook him. Not a great sign for him missing weight in the desert. Yeah, he's going to get cooked. Basharat is really good. Like, he's a little bit uninspiring to watch, but he's like a really, really good grappler. So yeah, Basharat missed too late is probably good. The under was gigantic early.
Gugabe, anything here?
Under Basharat's lights up kind of stuff. Like, I think Hugo's dangerous enough. He could just pull something out of his ass. Like, he's not really a guy who's just going to accept defeat. Like, he's going to try and spaz into stupid shit everywhere. And like, you never know if he high rolls a flying knee, or he does enough that you never know if he just high rolls them. And otherwise, he's probably going to get tired, melt, and get me naked choke down the stretch. Like, I think under IGD, Basharat all pretty good.
Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts too. Like, I feel like Hugo has the ability to, he's never going to win minutes here, in my opinion, but I do think he potentially has like a moment or two of make you scared type of thing. But Basharat's just so much better down the stretch. Like, I trust his cardio. I trust his, what's the word I'm looking for? His process. Yeah, just all that. Tim, anything different, or you think Basharat rolls here?
I think he rolls here. The thing is, I actually think like both guys, like Basharat's good. I like his game a lot. I thought his performance against Lapalus is like really aging well. I don't think Hugo's bad though. It's just like I don't think he's like an awful fighter. I think he's fairly dangerous. He seems like he'll fight for your money, but I feel like Basharat, I just think the wrestling like upside is there, and he also just like doesn't. He seems like a really hard guy to finish, Basharat. Like, he just kind of fights smart,
Yeah. Next up, Kennedy and Zekchukwu versus Chris Barnett. I mean, Chris Barnett is not UFC caliber. Kennedy, I think, has multiple minus 1,000 pass here. I personally, I think the best prop on the card is in Zekchukwu by submission. I think I took like plus 680 or something like that. That's a massive number. Barnett's like a 0 on bottom, and that's for sure the path of least resistance. Like, we've seen him shoot takedowns before, and if he gets on top of Barnett, I don't think Barnett's getting back up. So, yeah, I like Kennedy by submission here. This is my favorite comment of the day so far.
You guys are pretty funny.
What's wrong with that guy? It's been like, since it started, he's like, no, Gugabe stole his girlfriend or something.
Magic, you have anything on this one?
Yeah, if Chris Barnett wins, I'm probably have to delete Twitter. Like, I just said he sucks and he's minus 800 and the fat army is coming after me, bro. I didn't do anything. I mean, I don't know why he's in the UFC. It's a miracle if you look at it closely. Like, he landed that spinning kick against Villante, who was morbidly obese for that fight. And then the Jake Collier win was one of the biggest memes of all time. The guy just doesn't have more than a round of real gas. When he won the Jake Collier fight, somehow he was having a literal stroke. Like, something was going on with the right side of his face and his eye. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, this shouldn't be legal. Like, Nchuku is going to do something bad to this man. So yeah, I agree with you. If he gets on top, it's night. I mean, if he falls back himself, I'm not sure he's getting up. If it's round 2, he may just lay down there and the fight gets called. And Nchuku doesn't need to go on top. The guy doesn't have any real gas.
Gugabe, I didn't call on you yet, right? I'm all out of order.
Yeah, I think Kennedy sub's not bad. Barnett's probably shaped hard to sub, just there's not really limbs or necks, or there just isn't really like, yeah, you can picture him as like circles, like
Maybe if you just like body lock him really hard, he taps. You know, like
I
he's a
had
balloon.
who did he fight in his first UFC fight? I had the other guy by submission.
Cage pushy, big Polish guy, throw
Yeah,
Ben
control
that's
checks.
Rafa.
Raphael? Oh yeah, I remember that. That was
I
like
hit that submission one. Hopefully we get another one. Tim, any thoughts here?
No, like, I mean, Kennedy should roll. I will say though, he is like, his durability scares me a little bit. You know, like he's been knocked out cold a couple times now, but he's better. He's bigger. He's got like an 8-inch height advantage or something ridiculous too, so he should be all right.
I'll stick with you here. Anything on Abus Magomedov versus Bruno Ferreira?
I lean Magomedov here. I just feel like he's a good fighter. It's like his only loss is really, you know, in recent history, he got memed against Taylor. That could happen here. But other than that, like Strickland and Baralho are very, very good. Ferreira, it's like I don't trust his style over the course of 15 minutes. And Magomedov, I know he's kind of known to gas, like, but that's against people who can actually fight hard. Like generally, he can fight 15 minutes in like other situations. I think he's a better wrestler. He's a lot bigger too. I think he's just a more well-rounded fighter. So I kind of lean Magomedov a little bit, but he could get hurt. But that's pretty much it. You could live bet him too, but he might hurt him though. That's the problem. Like he's dangerous early too. You know.
I'm in the exact same boat as you. I like a boost here. I just, outside of an early KO, I mean, Bruno Ferreira, like that's his whole UFC career. He's never even seen the second round.
Yeah.
And if you look at who Abus has lost to, it's in the UFC, it's Sean Strickland and Kyle Baralho, like a former champ and someone who a lot of people are saying is going to be a champ in this division. Obviously, you know, we saw him get knocked out in PFL, and Ferreira hits very hard. He could get knocked out here. I just, you know, at this price, give me the guy who I've seen able to go 15 minutes and actually put together a process-based win. Like getting 10 minutes of top time is something I haven't seen Bruno Ferreira do. Taking a round off of Sean Strickland is something I haven't seen Bruno Ferreira do. Yeah, and I mean, Abus is meaningfully bigger too. Like I don't think that's getting talked about at all. Like he's way bigger reach, just more skilled. Yeah, I like a boost here. Gugabe, you got anything? I see people are just going nuts in there.
I think Abus is better at mixed martial arts, but Bruno has that dog in him. And again, I'm passing this fight, but I have this mental image that Abus will have a good round one, and then Bruno will just randomly switch him off or something. I just feel like that's how this is going to go. I think the line's fine. Like, yeah, I get the arguments of Abus, but I just feel like he's the gassiness and he seems like a bit of a quitter, which concerned me a bit. And Bruno will probably just win no minutes and we'll just randomly kill him at exactly 8.5 minutes. Like that's my prediction. He'll just hit something just fantastic.
Magic, I know you like Ferreira here. How do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, I gave it out on Twitter.
Is today your birthday or was it yesterday?
I mean, it's tomorrow. Technically, it's 1 a.m. here. So technically, it's already today, but tomorrow, Saturday.
Okay, because I have your birthday down on my calendar, and I thought I might have missed it, but tomorrow you'll be getting it.
Magic's birthday, send 100K. Written down.
So how do you see this fight playing out?
Yeah, I think Ferreira's the side at dog money. I don't really like you spreading lies with that fake breakdown narrative that he has gas because he doesn't have gas. Like he doesn't have gas. And he lost, you said he lost to only champions. He lost to Belal's dealer, the black guy that won the million. That's his drag dealer.
I said in the PFL. He got knocked out in the PFL.
Yeah, that's not a champion. That's the champion because he beat him. The champion of the 1 million. So don't spread fake narratives, Andrew, please.
I said he lost to two people in the UFC. Sean Strickland, who is a champion, and Kyle Baralho, who a lot of people think are going to be champion.
I don't know any of those people. Yeah.
Also, one more thing, since we're on the subject, Stoltzfus was beating Bruno Ferreira before he landed like a
until he wasn't. Until he wasn't.
Until he wasn't. Anyway.
And Stoltzfus has like real gas. He can take a beating. Abus Magomedov has 5 minutes of gas. I don't trust your breakdown. I'm sorry. He has 5 minutes of real gas, and after that, he doesn't want to fight. He didn't want to fight against Strickland. Against Borrayo. I mean, Borrayo should be in jail for not finishing that fight. The guy was done after a round. That was ridiculous. And then he decisioned Warley Alves at 185. He should be cut for decisioning Warley Alves at 185. If you don't finish Warley Alves, it shouldn't count as a win. Like the guy, I mean, he won because it was no gas versus no gas, and he was staying in mount without finishing the fight. Very bad, like Trump said. Very, very, very bad. They are going to bonk each other, and then they are going to get tired. And one of them, when they are tired, goes into survival mode. And Pereira, when he's tired, he wants to throw more rocks. You know what I mean? He gets out of trouble by getting more gas and throwing more rocks. So yeah, at plus money, I think he's a set. He's a serviceable grappler too. I'm not sure Magomedov is going to get on top like everybody's saying. He was having like some trouble getting Warley Alves down. But yeah, I like him. I think he's more durable, more powerful. I really, really hope this gets extended 10 minutes or something like that, because it could be cinema.
Yeah, should be a fun one. I'll stick with you here. Midabetch Oralby taking on Mateus Rebecki. Does this line seems wide to me? Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with great regret that I have to inform you that Oralby is a fraud. It was very clear after the last fight. That wasn't a good look. Like, he won, but he's clearly very green in a lot of grappling positions. This is not serious right now.
These comments are amazing today.
Yeah, the line is one of the biggest overcorrections of all time. Like, this guy was a 4-1 favorite against Diego Ferreira, and now he's a big dog against Oralby. And I'm not sure Oralby can grapple him even when they are fresh. Like, this guy is a tank. He's good. He's powerful. Like, he's a good fighter until he gasses. And Oralby was redlining bad against Brenner after basically dominating the fight. But yeah, I think you have to. I think the dog has to be the side clearly here. The under is probably good too, because Oralby is. The good thing about Oralby is that when you are betting his under or over, you are not really, oh, what if he plays the fight like this or like that? Oralby doesn't play the fight like this or like that. He just goes. He has no brain. He's clearly like half Mongoloid or something. It's clearly a different species to me. I don't care what any scientist says. Okay, that's like 50% Neanderthal or something. It's like the lost part of. How do you say that in English? Like the lost in evolution.
Yeah, I was literally just going to say that. I remember you saying that you feel like he never fully evolved.
Yeah, this guy went to Homo erectus and stopped. Like, that's not a human being. Look at his fucking face. So yeah, great fight, by the way. Really, really great fight. I'm rooting for Rebecki because he looks and sounds like a great guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the line's for sure wide here. Rebecki going from a minus 400 favorite against CDF to like a plus 300 underdog against Oralby here seems like way too much of a correction.
Yeah, the missing link in evolution. That's what that was.
Yeah, I just kind of think it's going to be like a good fight. Rebecki sprints. I don't think Oralby is just going to grapple him for 15 minutes, no problem. Like I think that's the only way he covers minus 300 here. I just kind of see this as like an honest fight, and I think the line's off. Gugabe, you have anything here, or do you think the line's good?
Yeah, I pretty much agree. Obviously, Rebecki didn't have a great performance last time, but he still has an incredible round one. Given himself a high floor just by being dangerous as fuck and trying very hard. Oralby just seems like people are getting caught up a bit in what he looks like, and him being like vaguely Eastern European. Like, it just feels like the market's just running off in this direction that he's like Khabib or something. And like, Medic cannot grapple. Like, he's just actively bad at grappling. And yeah, I like Elvis Brenner. I had Elvis Brenner against Tokugov and Guram, and like, they're both good wins, but. Brenner's a guy who competes. He's not a guy who is destined for greater things, kind of thing. Like, I think he just got knocked out by some absolute fraud. And it's hard to see like Oralby really justifying this price unless he just runs away with grappling.
I mean, honestly, I think there's a pretty good chance that Rebecca just takes his head off.
Yeah, I mean, Pereira 1's like plus 2,000 in certain places. And like Rebecca is, he's not exactly the most sophisticated striker sometimes, but he will fucking go for it.
Tim, anything different here? Or are you kind of leaning the Rebecca side also?
I think the line's wide. I did pick Holloway to win. I think he maybe fights through fatigue a little better. But the same thing, Rebecca, it's tough to like give him too much hate for CDF. Like CDF is really, really good, Like I feel like he could be like CDF in like a different universe could have been like a top 5 or been fighting for a belt, I think. I think he's really, really good.
I agree.
But I do think it's going to be just back and forth for a while, Like I think it's going to be kind of sketchy moments for both guys. I do think Holloway down the stretch, maybe, but he's a little gassy too. But I think it's just going to be like a war for a while, and then maybe Holloway pulls away. But I think it's going to be competitive.
Tim, I'll stick with you for Jeff Neal versus RDA. How do you see this one playing out?
Neal has pretty good takedown defense, so I picked him to win. I think he's a more effective striker and not, but he does the only concern is, we did see Magny have a little bit of grappling success, and he gets held up against the cage a lot, and RDA I could see doing that. So I could see RDA making it reasonably competitive, but ultimately Neal's got pretty good takedown defense, and I think he's the more powerful, younger boxer. So I'll pick him to win, but minus 280 doesn't interest me at all.
Yeah, similar thoughts here. I typically like RDA, really solid career, well-rounded. This is at this point in his career, though, I feel like Neal's a tough matchup for him. Like you said, very hard to take down, and on the feet, he's just better, more athletic, more explosive, just a better striker. I also, RDA's kind of been one of those guys who's bounced between 155 and 170. Never really liked 170 for him as much when he gets towards the top of the division. So, yeah, I kind of like the early over here. I know it took some money, but I feel like minus 170 on over 2.5. So I feel like this one goes 3 at a high clip. Gugabe, you got anything on this one?
Originally, I was kind of looking at Neal KO because it's just all right, Neal's minus 300. He has no grappling upside. He doesn't really do volume upside either. So, if Neal is covering, he probably has to hurt RDA bad. Just because, whatever pathways does he have apart from taking RDA's head off? But, I think this is competitive. But, I think RDA just physicality's declined enough, and there's enough power differential. I think it's RDA probably loses a close decision if he doesn't get killed. I don't know. It just feels like Neal will win a sort of underwhelming minus EV 29-28 kind of thing.
Magic, what about you?
Yeah, I have nothing. I feel like the over is a good look, but I refuse to play that over. I don't want it at minus 175 or whatever it is. I think it goes 3 at a high clip. Probably close, but Neal wins. Yeah, I agree with Gugabe. It's is Neal really going to knock out RDA over 3? Because he really doesn't throw that much, and I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I feel like Neal is going to win, but I wouldn't ever play minus 300 here. So yeah, pass.
Ibo Aslan taking on Rafael Sacaria. So this is an interesting fight for me because there's not a lot of tape on Rafael. And from what I did see, he doesn't seem that good to me. But I feel like there's a lot of potential downside here. He trains with Jalton Almeida. He allegedly has a black belt. And Aslan, we know, is not a good grappler. So for me, at close odds, it's enough for me to pass just because the potential downside is pretty big on Aslan. But I'm going to pick him to win because, I've seen him, fight UFC caliber guys and fight deep into a fight. But yeah, it's a sketchy one. Gugabe, do you have any stronger takes than that?
Pretty much the same thing. I'm surprised that people were so happy to bet Aslan against Pleasure Man, and now it's just this guy might have a black belt, this guy might have a training partner. He's the favorite kind of thing because, I know Topuria didn't really work out in the UFC, but he's super proactive, persistent grappler kind of thing, and I think Topuria with just slightly different matchmaking could have been decent because that archetype doesn't play out that often in light heavyweight. Yeah, I mean, like, Aslan gun to my head seems like plus physicality. Yeah, the Turk fight in Brighton impressed me a bit, and like, Raphael is just a question mark, really. But feels like when I put money on Aslan, he's going to get instantly arm triangled, and if I put money on Raphael, Aslan's just going to absolutely destroy him physically, and Raphael's going to try and grapple. So, pass seems fine. Like, somebody seems to know something passionately, so just if they want to take that punt, they can take that punt. But I don't know what they're saying.
Magic?
Yeah, I have nothing but this has like meme written all over it. I agree. I don't really understand the Cerqueira money coming in like that, but yeah, maybe someone knows something. If Waslan kind of sucks at grappling, I will never forgive the Pleasure Man for losing that. I mean, he has Petrino. Life could be so different right now. He fucking has Petrino on the ground, and he was on his back. Like, the Pleasure Man could be in a title eliminator right now against Anthony Smith and be the favorite. Yeah, what could have been, man. I have nothing. I will have a good share of under 1.5 in my degenerate parlays for sure, because this screams meme. Somebody knows something, or this guy gets instantly flattened, or instantly flying triangle choke or something. I mean, if he's going to justify getting bet into a decent sized favorite, he's going to submit in one, right? I guess. I don't
Magic, would you take Pleasure Man against Alex Pereira?
Of course, but I mean, at any price, you have to take that.
Honestly, I think there's no argument to be made there. I'm not even shitting on it. I think, like, Pleasure Man would try to do the right thing.
Like,
Yeah.
do you remember the shots the Pleasure Man took against Petrino?
Yeah,
I had the
Pleasure Man's
under,
the
I
guy.
had the under there, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Probably not now, but there was a point in Pereira's UFC career where the Pleasure Man would have ragdolled him. I mean, it seriously.
Yeah, I agree.
Who wins, Petrino or Pereira?
Petrino.
Depends how proactive Petrino is at
I-
grappling.
Yeah.
I could see him pulling an ankle live and just
Yeah.
not grappling for 8 minutes.
Yeah, been saying Petrino pretty retarded, yeah. I literally tweeted that I think that Petrino molds Pereira. Very, very live to mold Pereira.
Yeah.
Getting guillotined by Anthony Smith in 2024 is all time, man. I got Smith by submission, and I was like, I cannot believe I'm going to win this with a guillotine. Yeah, the Pleasure Man was. I mean, he was a good character. It was funny to have him in the UFC. That was sad. Maybe he gets a call or something, because light heavyweight fucking sucks.
Hopefully. I love the Pleasure Man.
Tim, any thoughts here?
There's not enough tape for me to like really know what's going on. I tend to like lean guys we've actually seen fight a few rounds in the UFC, but I don't know. I feel like you don't really know. Like there's only one fight on that guy, so whatever.
Main card coming up, but Tim, we'll stick with you here. I know a lot of people are curious who you side with in the Israel-Palestine conflict.
Um,
I'm just joking. Shahar Magomedov versus Armin Petrosian. What are your thoughts?
I think it's dog or pass. Like I think it's like I think Petrosian, they'll probably strike. I think Petrosian's better defensively and like maybe a little more technical, where Magomedov might be a little more like damaging and whatnot. But there's a big like Petrosian in striking fights is really good, and it's beaten some good guys. And I feel like, plus 155, the more like proven striker at this level, I feel like it's just going to be like back and forth. And I feel like the minute winner is probably Petrosian. And if he doesn't get hurt, like I feel like he can win this fight. So striking fights are hard to call though. Like judges get involved, random knockouts can happen. So I'm never confident in him. But like at plus 155, a guy who's like beat some good strikers in the UFC, I kind of lean him a little bit. Dog or pass, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I feel like Petrosian's much more proven against better competition. Like it's probably going to play out on the feet, but if anyone gets a takedown or two here, it's probably Petrosian also. I think it's a competitive fight, probably 29-28 either way, but I lean the Petrosian side. Magic, you have any plays on this one?
Yeah, I'm going to go broke fade in this route. I mean, he's not good. People are acting like he's good, and it doesn't sit well with me. Like, he's not good. He's not even good at what he does. Like, he just spams kicks. He's not even a good boxer or has good hands or something. He just lays back and spams kick, and the UFC is just feeding him bumps. I don't know how the fuck Michal doesn't get finished and loses that fight. Like he was barely training or something. Like Rodolfo Vieira will insta-tap him in 2 minutes. This guy is not good. Don't you think Rodolfo Vieira just rolls him like in under 2 minutes? He can absolutely not grapple. I take fucking Mackenzie Dern's husband, and this idiot cannot get even one takedown and just gets lit up like or stays 4 minutes in the clinch. Ridiculous. He's just not good. I mean, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, Petrosian. And if next fight is, I don't know, whoever it is, whoever, I'll keep betting against him. He's not good. He can absolutely not grapple. Like getting grapple fucked by Bruno Silva in the UFC is absolutely insane. He's just lucky that Bruno Silva even loses from top on the ground. Ridiculous. Like he's not good. Petrosian is, I mean, hot take, but Petrosian is the better striker. And if there is any
that's a hot take.
If there is any grappling upside at all, it's Petrosian's. So you have to take him. They are kind of big because they are just going to bonk at each other, and Petrosian is going to go forward, probably like 200, 250 strikes landed type of fight. They are going to dish it out. So yeah, looks big.
Gugabe, are you rounding out the Petrosian crowd here, or any shout out love on your end?
Yeah, I think Shower's a fraud. I think, unfortunately, Petrosian probably gives him the fight that he's best at, but I also think Petrosian is fully capable of beating him in kickboxing. I think the under's kind of crazy. Like, it's plus 220 for a middleweight fight where they're going to land like 200 significant strikes. Like, yeah, Magomed's kind of harmless and only goes body legs, but like, Petrosian KO is like plus 700. Like, they're going to go to war. Like, yeah, it just seems mathematically incorrect when it's just like you got two guys in like a biggish weight class who are going to put up that level of volume. Yeah, I think Petrosian in the under. Like, inevitably, Shara wins like 29-28 off like a fortuitous knockdown or some shit, because that's just how these things go. But yeah, I can't really see how Petrosian, like how Shara decision is such like a confident spot in the market. Like, I think it's competitive, and like I think Petrosian's definitely capable of hurting him.
The guy is fucking half blind. Like, how is any fight ever getting stopped because blood is going into the eye, and this guy is fighting blind, and nobody
can't get worse, man.
No, he's blind. Like, I would be like tripling my left hook, like fucking Roy Jones Jr. in there. He cannot see it. I hope Petrosian does it. Like, I just need someone semi-capable to beat this fraud, okay? Like, he cannot keep getting away with this.
What was insane? Oleksiejczuk went to wrestling in round 3, and like Oleksiejczuk can't fucking wrestle, and he was like running away with it.
I was like, we should have done this earlier, Michel.
Like, I could have legit been minus 300 him if he just grappled earlier. He just like once he started getting on top, it was done. It was.
You don't understand that Michel didn't even know that was a possibility because he has never ever got a takedown. That was probably an accident.
But like when he did, it's just like again, I was like medium on Oleksiejczuk because I was just like, oh, Oleksiejczuk did swing like a fucking wild man, and then Oleksiejczuk, but he just seems to have lost his bottle. Like, it's insane to me that Oleksiejczuk like beat Chitty and lost to Shara. Like Shara is a way worse version of Chitty.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the Israel-Palestine conflict? It looked like you had something to
add. This is on the Magic and Andrew podcast, right?
There is. Now, what do you think about Lerone Murphy versus Dan Ige? I know that Murphy took some money early. Do you agree with that move, or do you think the fight plays out close?
Price seems a bit insulting. Like, Ige is one of those guys who's just hard to beat. Murphy's had 2 good performances in a row. Well, he seems to develop a wrestling game, which is like good, since like he's never going to cover this kind of price standing just because he doesn't really do that much. Like, I don't know, Barboza pushed a pace, but Barboza just looked like he was happy to go home after like 6 minutes. Yeah, I think Ige and the under are both kind of crazy. Like, the under is plus 370 now.
That's
like
crazy, man.
Both these guys, both these guys hits.
Wait, this shit has to be fixed. The under movement is not normal. Like, it was like plus 215 yesterday, and last time I checked, it was already 325. It's 370 now.
Like, Ige is durable, but like this is like women's MMA. This is like women's MMA level under. Like, what the fuck?
29-28, Murphy with 2 takedowns. They are sparring. Somebody nuked the over.
I mean, yeah, that under seems insane. Just like, they're both. Yeah, they're both plus hitters.
They can crack. They can.
Yeah,
crack.
and just like and Ige's probably under indexed a bit in finishes, to be honest. But like, even then, like pretty much every Ige fight, somebody gets hurt badly, at least once. Yeah, I think Ige and the under intellectually, but inevitably Murphy 29-28.
Magic.
Yeah, I think like not very enthusiastic about the price where it's gone now on Leron Murphy, but I feel like he's just going to win. You know what I mean? And favorites seem to win every week, every time lately, so probably he's fine.
Favorites
This
and
feels
over
like
every week.
he's much bigger, much more athletic, faster, more powerful. And I mean, in the end, this is a not overly athletic Hawaiian or whatever he is against a gigantic black dude. That's kind of an advantage in a fight, in this fight. So yeah, I think Murphy should be fine as long as he doesn't get cracked very hard or does something stupid. The Barbosa fight was quite impressive.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Barbosa performance was really good. I favor Murphy here too. Not a crazy take. I just think I think the under is wide. I do, you can't ignore the statistical advantages for Murphy. I think he's kind of peaking as a fighter right now. Like, he looked career best. Ige's tough. Like, he won't go away, but I just think he's going to be losing minutes here. Tim, I know you like the Murphy side. Anything we didn't cover?
Yeah, he's my first bet of the night. I got on him early too. So like minus 250, 280 or whatever. I wouldn't like advise it, but that Barbosa fight was legit and he dominates the head strikes. And like Ige, it's not like if he doesn't knock him out, it's like who has he beat, striking wise in a decision? It's like he went tooth and nail with Barbosa. I didn't even know if he won that fight. Who like Murphy dominated. In other events, like Cater beat him fine. Like, I don't know. Like, if he doesn't knock him out, I think he's going to lose. And I just feel like Murphy's too quick for him and too athletic, longer. I think he'll be all right. He's a good fighter. Like, that was a really good performance by him versus Edson.
Magomed Ankalaev taking on Alexander Rakic. Magic, I feel like you've got a lot to say about Magomed Ankalaev, so I'll let you start it off.
I mean, no disrespect, but this guy's straight up disabled or something. Like, I swear to God, I've never seen a fighter that wins by accident as much as him. He chooses the worst game plan possible every fucking fight, and he just keeps winning like he's a cheat code. He's the best grappler in the division. I mean, he opened minus 200 against the greatest of all time, Alex Poatan and Pereira. If you want to bet Ankalaev right now, it's minus 200. He's the uncrowned champion, honestly. He should be the champion. Rakic is like, if anybody's going to beat him, it's probably going to be Rakic, landing something stupid. But Rakic is also like, oh, look at how jacked I am. I'm so big and muscular and I can wrestle and throw bombs. And then he gets hit in the chin or something and dies. That's Rakic. Like, he's tragic. Like, Rakic is good, but I think he has absolutely no pocket distance at all. You know what I mean? When he's throwing, he's swinging. And if not, he's kicking. He cannot really mix it. He's either wrestling or kicking or throwing hands, but not all together. And when he gets close, his defense is pretty much non-existent. Giri emasculated him when he forced the pocket. I feel like Ankalaev just needs a big moment and then bounces on him or something like that. But I could see this being close for several minutes if Ankalaev just decides to, I don't know, have a brain malfunction again. Ankalaev should be going forward here because if not, he's going to get leg kicked pretty bad, I feel. But you never know. This is the inevitable, Rakic was looking minus 125 live and then he's unconscious on the canvas. A classic.
Yeah, I mean, I was tempted. I was / am a little tempted on the Rakic side because Ankalaev, like, never really comes out, looking to shoot 12 takedowns. If he was going to do that, I probably would, think the line's justified. But I just kind of see him taking the path of most resistance and having a relatively competitive striking fight. My pause is I do think he is more KO upside. I think he's more durable. Rakic just finds a way into trouble. But yeah, I gun to my head, I think this plays out like a 29-28 Ankalaev decision.
I like that.
You have anything here?
I think Rakic is Ankalaev's hardest fight in the division. Like, I'm not saying that like I favor Rakic or anything, but big, athletic, bombs leg kicks. Again, like Rakic can grapple offensively. I don't know if his defensive grappling is there. Quite possibly he sucks at it. It's, I'm not saying he's definitely like got good takedown defense, but by light heavyweight standards, being able to actually grapple offensively like shows me at least something. Like light heavyweight's a very stupid division where most people just cannot grapple whatsoever. So I just kind of feel like Ankalaev, being an idiot, will be happy to grant Rakic an outside kicking fight, and then we'll get kicked in the leg a bunch, and we'll. He probably somehow manages to dig it out because he's the best light heavyweight in the world by a big margin. But I still think Rakic is his hardest opponent. I'm like, 1.5 units from Rakic. So I feel like just the leg kicks. Like I just feel like he just asks a lot of good questions for Ankalaev. Like I give Rakic a better chance beating him than I do Pereira or like anything like that, just on like being able to ask the right questions. And like I think Rakic, like I understand like people are annoyed, but people are annoyed that. He's kind of flagged a bit, but like most of his losses are like fair. Like what he lost Ozdemir off weird shin optics. He broke his leg against Jan. Oh yeah, he didn't lose, but like the judges gave it to Ozdemir because what the fuck's wrong with his leg? Essentially, Jan was a leg injury, and like if Ankalaev had gotten slightly more injured against. If Ankalaev got slightly more injured against Jan, he would have been the same. And like, Yuri did the right thing, bit the mouthpiece, but I don't really think Ankalaev's going to do that. Like, Rakic or pass.
Tim, any thoughts?
Ankalaev's a better, like, more well-rounded fighter and whatnot. Like, I don't know. I feel like could Rakic KO him, I guess, but it's still a low percentage outcome. The only other way I see Rakic winning is like a tepid split decision striking fight. But like I still think Ankalaev is better on the feet. I think he has more power. He's way better in the pocket. And I feel like we don't know about anything about Rakic's like defensive wrestling. He hasn't faced something like this before. But I don't know. I'm gonna go Ankalaev here. I think he's the second hardest matchup for him in the division. I think Jamal Hill's a tougher matchup because he's got more volume, more cardio, and I think his defensive wrestling against Glover looked really good. But those are probably the two toughest matchups for Ankalaev, in my opinion.
I don't think decision should be favored here.
I get what you're saying. I was kind of thinking that too, but because Ankalaev just being an idiot. But under 2.5, it's like plus Jesus. Yeah, that's jumped up quite a bit. That's crazy. Because if Ankalaev's winning, he should be looking at the finish.
I don't think he's going to wrestle either. I don't think he's going to, or he needs it. I don't think so. I think he needs to go forward. And eventually he's just going to clip Rakic by accident.
Yeah.
I mean, everything he has to do is not get leg kicked in the open flat. You know what I mean? So he's probably going to go to the middle of the octagon, not move, and get leg kicked hard 4 times or 5, and then we go from there because it's Ankalaev. He's very conscious.
Yeah, I agree. The unders so much gotten so wide.
Co-main event: Whitaker versus Chimaev. Highly anticipated fight. It's been made a couple times now. 5 rounds. Definitely changes things a little bit. I do still think Chimaev is deservedly a solid favorite. Like, it's one of those spots where I feel like even if Chimaev, if the fight does extend, which I don't necessarily think it will. I don't think Chimaev is gonna like death gas, turtle up, and get TKO'd. Like I think he's still gonna push through fatigue late and still potentially be landing takedowns. And Whitaker is not like a huge hitter, but I don't know. Like I just watched that first round of Chimaev versus Usman, and I don't think most guys survive that. Like that was crazy. I think Usman's actually one of the only fighters at middleweight that survives that early onslaught. So gun to my head, I think Chimaev early. I think submission's not a bad look at like plus 250 or better. Cause I don't really think he's going to knock Whitaker out at much of a clip, and over 5 rounds of grappling success, he should find a choke here. But yeah, I think early submission. Tim, what do you think?
I'm on Chimaev here. Before I taped, I was kind of like, oh, Whitaker might, win late or whatever. But Whitaker goes to all 4s too much, man. Like that sequence against Dricus was really bad. He got like drunkenly judo throwed, and then he goes to like
that was elite grappling.
I'm not saying like Dricus makes it work. I'm just saying like if you're getting thrown like that, Chimaev's he's gonna get you down. And he goes to all fours. The Darces were there for Duplessis, and if you go to all fours, like Chimaev's, his two things are like front chokes and taking your back and putting hooks in and killing you. And I just feel like he's going to be in big trouble. I think Chimaev's going to finish him early, and I think he's going to sub him. And then even if like he doesn't, like you said, Andrew, he's not like a McKinney Chimaev. Like he doesn't just die or Herbert Burns. And I think that's what impressed me the more I watched the Usman fight. Originally, I was kind of like a Chimaev hater for a little bit, but I don't know. The more I watched it, like he still was taking down one of the hardest guys to take down in the UFC in rounds 2 and 3, you know? And I just feel like he'll get off to an early lead and he could still probably land takedowns late through fatigue anyway, you know? And Whitaker doesn't push like a crazy pace. Like he distance kickboxes a lot. And watching those Romero fights, I think Chimaev is going to, I think he's going to finish him early. And even if he doesn't, I think he'll build a big enough lead and survive.
Magic, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I can imagine Tim watching the Usman fight every night, like to see if Usman wins this time. Like,
I mean, I think it was a 10-8 round one, and the other 2 rounds were competitive. Like you could, the other 2 rounds were competitive, but even if like whoever you score him for, it was still a good performance by like both of them.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I knew you were going to pick Chimaev here because if he beat Usman, who is like the greatest of all time for Tim, like he must be like the prophet of grappling.
Like, I mean, that round one was kind of crazy. The way he was just throwing down Usman, I did not expect that at all. Like I really did.
The way he was flattening Usman down was insane. Like that's not normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going. I mean, he blatantly missed weight. Have you seen the video?
Yeah.
Like
he's up by like 3 pounds.
He wasn't going to make weight, so they give him an extra hour out of their ass. Like, oh, the weigh-in is now an extra hour, and the guy shows up like he just got out of bed, and like that shit didn't move. It was like top bottom. He was like 188, 189 minimum, and the guy is like 186 comes at Chimaev. Yeah, I think he's going to sprint at Whitaker, and I agree with Tim. He hasn't really fought that many good grapplers. Joel Romero was getting him down, but come on, Joel Romero, has he ever taken the back of anyone? He doesn't even know how to do it. Or maybe he physically cannot take the back, Joel Romero. I'm not sure it's possible for him physically to take the back. I feel like he's going to just put him into, like Fluffy, into the washing machine, some sort of front choke transition and end the fight. If he doesn't end the fight in 15 minutes, he's probably... If he doesn't finish the fight in 15 minutes, he's probably going to lose, I feel. You know what I mean? 3 rounds. If this gets to the championship rounds, I trust Whitaker to push through and make this a real fucking fight. But I don't think he's going to survive until that point. But yeah, I think Chimaev.
Gugabe, we all picked Chimaev. Are you rounding out the Chimaev train, or are you on Whitaker here?
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I think round 1, Chimaev, like anytime you can get round 1 Chimaev plus 350 when he's minus 250 for the fight, you probably should take round 1. Yeah, sub 1 should be good. If Whitaker's still alive after 8 minutes, you can probably lie bet him then and get plus 700 or something for the good parts of what he's going to do. Whitaker's weird to me because I feel like a lot of what made him good was like relying on being so much faster than other middleweights. So I feel like he kind of struggles a lot more with guys who are like smaller but have the sort of speed parity. Just how his style is built. And also the issue with Whitaker is like even once Chimaev slows, I don't necessarily think Whitaker is that reliable to really take over firmly. So yeah, I'm happy to take a shot on Chimaev. So sub 1. Then hope it works out. Maybe look live bet if he's still alive.
Okay, and on to the main event. Gonna stick with you here, Gugabe. You once famously tweeted Topuria fine. I'm curious if your thoughts on him have changed over his last couple of fights, and how you see this matchup going.
It's a weird one. Like I think the Josh Emmett performance from Topuria incredible. Like that was truly something special. Just pushing that pace with his explosiveness. I think the Volkanovski fight was fun. Like again, like I'm really not sure what the fuck you guys are watching. Like what 8 minutes of competitive striking and he goes down.
I mean,
Like,
don't you think competitively striking with Volkanovski means you're really good to begin with?
was he competitively striking? He lost round 1 pretty clear. Like, you can't check leg kicks. Like, he's obviously a physical specimen. Like,
I mean,
people are confusing this with me acting like Topuria is not like top 5 or something. I think Topuria is good. I just don't think like he's this transcending GOAT level. You know, like there are gaps here. Like, you know, if he rematches Volkanovski, if they rerun the Volkanovski fight tomorrow, I don't think Topuria is like minus 500. You guys seem to have watched like RDA Pettis or some shit.
Minus 200 for sure. You don't think?
I mean, no, like, in the market price or like my price. Again, I think the first price was still fine. Like, I don't think I got anything from that fight that like revolutionizes how I see Topuria. Or like, as far as I'm concerned, the Topuria performance actually matters to this point. It's still Emmett. Like that was an incredible performance.
Yeah.
Like, you know, him pushing that pace with his style for that long against a guy who also swings bricks. Because like people are shitting on me for betting Emmett plus 400, but like Emmett landed like a bunch of very big shots on it. Like, Josh Emmett's not somebody you can just swing bricks with. Like, you know, beating him with swinging bricks is impressive, don't get me wrong, but I still think the criticism wasn't valid. Like, you know, it's Josh Emmett. He just don't get into a fucking stupid swinging match with Josh Emmett and be minus 500. That's stupid. I don't know. Here's weird because just like Holloway's looked flat in his heavyweight fights recently. I don't think this is necessarily going to be when Holloway finally goes down, but I think if he's going to go down, it's going to be here. I just feel like this is kind of the same as the Whittaker fight, where it's like, just wait around. If Holloway dies, you got your answer there. If he doesn't, like, he's probably going to pull away down the stretch.
So what's your official prediction for this fight? Or like, I guess, what do you think the true price should be?
I think Holloway's a little bit wide, but I just rather with a live bet than pre-bet.
Okay, Magic, what are your thoughts on this one? Obviously, Topuria looking to defend his belt after taking it from Volkanovski. Holloway back down at 145 after competing at 155. How do you see this one going down?
First of all, I don't understand he lost the round to Volkanovski. I was there like 20 feet from the action, and he clearly won the round. And I watched it back on tape, and I don't get it. He landed like 3 big leg kicks, not much happening in the round. Everybody in the arena was like, yeah, he has him. He couldn't stop in front of him at all. It looks different in there than
How did the judges score it? I literally don't remember.
I think Volkanovski got it on 2 cards.
Volkanovski. 2 cards, 1 out. He definitely got it.
Volk jumped to like minus 170 after the first round. Like not like heavy, but they thought maybe he slightly won it. I remember that. I never looked back to see who actually won it.
Yeah, it seemed like Volk won at coin markets, and you know, Volk's going to be building okay.
Yeah, Raquel Pennington closed 22-1, and they fucked me last week. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going on. So yeah, I'm sorry to the listeners for that Gugabe rant. That was, yeah, I mean, the man needs help. that level of hate is the one I aspire to, like, someday to get. It's basically he hates Topuria like I hate Gorimbo, pretty much.
Gorimbo was good at fighting, bro. There is a difference. Gorimbo Topuria head-to-head would be the greatest fight in UFC history, potentially.
I don't know what Topuria UFC career are you watching. Like, this guy is the goods. Like, he's very clearly the goods. At this point, everybody knows, like, he's the goods. Gugabe has doubts, but we will see after Max Holloway. I don't think this fight is going to be particularly competitive, honestly. Like, if this, I mean, I think 20 out of 24 UFC fighters were asked and picked Max Holloway to win the fight, which is insane to me. And I think the line is the way it's it because it's Max Holloway. Everybody loves Max Holloway. Max Holloway, the greatest of all time of taking a beating. Max Holloway. If this was a guy, I mean, exact same career, exact same performances, exact same body. If this instead of Max Holloway was Scott McHanson from Scotland, Topuria would be minus 1,000, straight up. Don't you think? Like, he fought Volkanovski, it wasn't competitive. He got beat up for 5 rounds. Then he fought Korean Zombie, who was absolutely done, and that was competitive. He was getting hit, and then Zombie just died. The Arnold Allen fight, Allen just doesn't throw. I bet Holloway, I thought he won. Arnold Allen doesn't throw. It was relatively close. And then, because this sport is crazy biased regarding your last fight, I remember vividly before the Gaethje fight, I bet Holloway, I bet him to finish too, and the narrative around was Justin Gaethje is going to hurt Max Holloway. He shouldn't be taking this fight, blah, blah, blah. He was like plus 170. And now somehow he's going to stop in front of Topuria and pace him. I don't know how. I don't know how people are going to pretend this is going to happen. Or he's clearly beaten to the jab. If this comes down to a jabbing contest, he's going to lose it badly. Topuria doesn't throw punches to get points. You know what I mean? He's throwing power shots for 5 rounds. The body shots are a big I win button if it happens. Holloway goes to defense and he's horrific against defense. He squares up. He doesn't know how to work backwards. Topuria said that and people were ready to kill him. Max Holloway doesn't know how to fight backwards. He squares up like it will be the capital sin in boxing. That's why Gaethje knocked him down, even though it didn't count. He's not good with his feet against defense. He gets hit a lot. I don't think he's going to manage this power. Like Gugabe likes to say, eventually everybody goes down. I think the time has come. And if he decides to grapple, this is going to be rape on the ground. So yeah, I don't see it. I think Topuria should be a much, much bigger favorite. I honestly think he's going to just destroy him, and after tomorrow, people are going to be like, "Oh, Max was the weight cut, this and that."
Actually, kind of.
I will say, like, I like both guys a lot. You know, like I think Max is very good. I think Topuria is very good. I will agree with Magic where the concern for me with Max is he doesn't fight great going backwards. Like I think that's a good point because Topuria will come after him and swing in the pocket, and it could get him knocked out. But Holloway is just he's so durable. Like until he gets knocked out, I mean, the inside the distance is minus 115-ish, you know, for Topuria. And like I look at that, and that's just like a lot of finishes. Like even if like Topuria got 30 finishes out of 100 against Holloway, that would be insanely impressive. So I'm playing that. I'm playing not Topuria inside the distance. I think like his decision line at plus 300 or something isn't. I could see him winning like a power-based decision here. Like Arnold Allen took a couple rounds by just kind of landing some big shots like occasionally. You know, I could see something like that happening. I tend to think it's going to be a pretty competitive fight. I think Topuria will land some big shots at times, but I do think Holloway will like have success with like cardio and volume too, you know? But he's never been dropped. You can count the Gaethje one though, but he's never been dropped in like 100 UFC rounds. And, you know, if Topuria can get 50 finishes out of 100, like that would be insane. And he can take my money. Like if that's the case, you know? Like Zalal survived fine. I know he was a different fighter then. Emmett survived, and like these other guys like Ryan Hall and stuff, like they're not Max Holloway, you know. But I think it's going to be. I think Topuria's going to give him trouble with the power a bit, land some big shots, and then I think it will get a little closer down the stretch. And I'm just going to pick Holloway to survive.
How does Max win?
I think like volume boxing and whatnot, I think it could happen, but like I'm not gonna lie, the third Volk fight is what concerns me the most. You know, like Volk did beat him up and was kind of just like landing some big shots. Like I feel like I'm not saying like Holloway's easily gonna win. I'm not saying that. I'm just like betting on his durability. That's what I'm betting on. You know, like if Topuria wins a decision or a dominant one, like fine, he could win like a 49-46 decision. Topuria here, like after seeing that fight with like a Holloway and Volkanovski, but Holloway is just very, very tough. Like no one can deny that. Like no one can deny it. Like historic durability. But like if Topuria won like a 49-46 decision, I wouldn't be shocked, and I could see it happening. I think Holloway's very, 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 very tough.
Holloway's not winning a round tomorrow,
and that's fine. I just think he like
I get what you are saying, but I just don't see it. People love to say this is stupid shit that Holloway is the best boxer in the UFC. He's not the best boxer for shit. Like he just takes 50, gives 50, and there's a point where he can take more than the other guy. And people are like, "Oh, best boxer in the UFC," and he's throwing 400 strikes. I don't think people realize how much better of a boxer Topuria is than Max Holloway. If we are talking just strictly technique, it's not close.
Yeah, I mean, Holloway just thrives with his durability and cardio and volume. You know, it's not technique. It's just that, and that's kind of what I'm betting on here is just like him to survive because he's so tough, and he does probably have a cardio advantage. So if he survives for a couple rounds, he's probably going to survive the rest of the fight. But like Topuria could clean him out in a decision. Like, I'm not ruling that out at all. Like, seeing that Volkanovski third fight was concerning. Yair, he had to wrestle against Yair for a little bit, you know? Like, that could happen, where Topuria could just be, the power could be too much. But that's still so many finishes. Like, even if Topuria got 30 finishes out of 100, that would be insane. Like, that would be amazing, you know? So, and you'd still have a big edge on the books at the current line.
I honestly think he's going to come out to run straight up, and people are going to pretend he's Floyd Mayweather. Just watch. Max Holloway. And then he's going to try to take it to the championship rounds and push or something. But I think he's going to come out to run.
Yeah.
And people are going to be like, you know, when they show that the tweets, Aaron Bronstetter, 10-9 Holloway, very tactical round.
Yeah, I think Topuria is going to win. Am I playing, minus 275 on him? No, but I mean, it's impossible for me to ignore like how big of a power edge he has, the grappling edge he has, the fact that he hasn't taken a fraction of the damage that Max has. Max going up to 155 and coming down here, it won't bode well. So yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, I bet Topuria in every single one of his UFC fights besides Emmett because he was minus 400. So obviously I'm high on the guy, and Holloway does a lot of things really well that most fighters can't do. Like the volume he puts up is crazy. His cardio is great. I also don't think it's being talked about how this is like in my opinion, far and away the best submission grappler he's fought. Like
by far.
He's fought a lot of strikers, and like it's not to say that Topuria is going to go out, double leg him, and submit him, but like I do think he has a lot of sneaky grappling upside here. So
there were people
gonna grapple. Do you think he's gonna grapple? Sorry, like anyone here?
Maybe if it goes like 10 minutes and he's just taking absurd shots, I think he just grapples him. But
that's what I was thinking. Like not right away, I don't think.
I mean, people were betting Frankie Edgar at one point against Holloway because he could get takedowns. They said.
I took a shot at Frankie Edgar in that fight.
Yeah.
If Topuria starts grappling right away, could you see like Max? Because Max is still like
he's not going to do that.
But say if he does, like, or like I don't know, for like he just decides to like grapple hard for a round, couldn't you see like that working against him? Maybe like I could see it tiring him a little bit. Like I think he should just come strike here and mix in a takedown and like when it's there. But I think if he like really tries to grapple, that's whenever it could. I feel like it could blow his gas tank a little bit. I just remember the Zalal fight, but it was short notice. So I'm not going to fully, and like he had better cardio against Emmett, but Emmett wasn't resisting as much as Zalal. And I do think Max will resist more than Emmett and just put more offense at him. So I do think that could be interesting.
Yeah, I think for me too, just the Emmett fight was by far the best performance Topuria has ever put together. Just like his ability to sustain his pace of doing Topuria shit for that long is insane. It's like, for Shavkat Neal is just an insane performance. Just like
that was like John Jones, prime John Jones.
Yeah, and like once you've seen that, it's just like, all right, this guy can. It's very hard to fade somebody who just has shown like a massive outlier performance like that.
People in the chat are crazy. Come on, I'm not biased. I don't think Max wins more than 1 out of 10. I don't get it. How is he going to win? This is an all-time comment. He started to gas a bit against Bryce Mitchell and then got a finish. Did you see the fight? Bryce Mitchell had a car accident. That's crazy.
I do feel that like also the Gaethje fight. I think we all had Max over Gaethje, and like I think Gaethje kind of gave him the optimal like script. Like I'm not sure what the fuck Gaethje was doing there. Like I was big on Holloway, and like Gaethje decided to do like outside slow tempo kicking against Holloway and just let him completely set the pace on him was insane. And like round 4, Gaethje started like biting the mouthpiece and going forward, and he had his best round of the fight by far. So like for me, that sort of shows what Topuria could do. Like when I first saw this book, that was kind of like Holloway all day, but now I'm just like, I don't know, see how life plays out because like I think Holloway's very hard to finish, but he's finally going to go down.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I think people expect Holloway to just be in front of him and fight him, and that's not going to happen. Like, he had nothing for Volkanovski. Volkanovski couldn't stop in front of Ilya. It's like an entirely different level of physicality. Also, I think the elephant in the room is Topuria has developed somehow a heavy low kick. He took Emmett leg out. Volkanovski had trouble with it. Max is very kickable. Like, Yair destroyed his leg. That could take a toll if the fight extends, but honestly, I think he's going to destroy him. Like I think after tomorrow, it's going to be like superstardom.
Guys, speaking of sports, I got to run. The Yankees are about to play in the World Series for the first
Isn't
time.
that shit over? I thought you won. Didn't
No,
you
it's
win the
about to
whole
start.
thing?
It's about to start. They're in
Like
the
the Super
championship.
Bowl of baseball?
Yeah, it's about to start right now.
I thought it
All
was over. Everybody's tweeting about
Gomez
it.
is a Yankees fan.
I mean, he has to win
Christ.
something because he's a Jets fan too. So let him be.
All right.
He's
Peace,
a Lakers
guys. Thank
fan, a
you for
Yankees
joining, and,
fan.
See you, boys.
we'll be back next
Catch up.
week.